Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make an HST or a half square triangle quilt block. This particular quilt block, I've done a 10 by 10 inch square and I've cut it out from two different fabrics. Take these two squares and place them with right sides facing each other, one on top of the other. And then you're going to pin it all the way around. I put one pin at each corner of the square. Now stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around your square and make sure to back stitch to reinforce the corners so that they back stitch so that they intersect each other with the back stitching to reinforce the corners. So this is the piece after I've stitched it all the way around, and as you can see, I have back stitched in each of the corners, and you see how they intersect and overlap each other. So I've done that on each of the four corners of this square. Now I'm going to take my ruler and a marking pen that will erase with heat. And I'm going to take my ruler and mark with my marking pen on the diagonal and make an X across the square. So one mark that way and then another mark this way, and try to make the ruler pass through where the stitches intersect at the corners. Now I'm going to take my fabric cutting scissors and I'm going to cut along these lines that I've just marked. So I'm cutting all the way from one end to the other. That'll make it two triangles. And then I will cut each of those triangles in half along the marking, and I will have four triangles. So now when I open the triangle up, I have a square, but you see each half of the square is a triangle, hence the half square triangle name of this particular type of quilt block. So I've taken the four squares to the iron and pressed them open. That's how it looks on the back. And now you see these pieces hanging off. I'm just going to take my little nippers and I'm going to clip off those edges that are hanging over because it'll make it easier to sew the pieces together. Now we get to have a bit of fun because we can decide how to arrange our quilt blocks to make different designs. So if I arrange them this way, it'll make what's like some diagonal lines. And I mentioned before that this is a 2 10-inch blocks sewn together. So this will make a 12.5-inch block once we sew these 4 pieces together. Now I'm gonna try to make, I did the diagonal line, so now let's try to make a pinwheel design. So this is the pinwheel design. As you can see, it's like every other, where the colors, it's solid print, solid print, solid print. Now let's arrange it in one of my favorite ways to arrange the blocks, which is in the chevron pattern. So as you see, this is like an upside down V. So when you place the blocks together, then it makes like a up down V, like a chevron. And this is a diamond pattern where the solid color fabric is making the diamond shape. And we can also do the opposite, where the print color fabric is making the diamond shape. As you can see, this is a very versatile quilt block, and you can arrange it in many different designs throughout your quilt to get different outcomes from the same simple block. So here are a few of the finished chevron style blocks that you can see when you make multiple blocks and you place them side by side, that they make the continuous up down V chevron pattern, and it makes the pattern with the printed fabric as well as with the solid color. Makes a very beautiful pattern when you lay them side by side. So as I said, with the 12.5-inch block, if you want to make your quilt a certain size, throw king queen, then you can count how many blocks it will take to fulfill the length requirements for the type and the size of blanket, quilt, throw, that wall hanging that you desire to create. So let's take a look at how it all comes together. Here's another finished quilt that I made using the same method. Happy sewing, and thank you for watching.